Hi, now that we know how shaders are compiled, we can set up CMake to do it for us. Similar to this fetch content module, I would like to create a separate CMake file that is responsible for shader functionality. I create a CMake directory, and inside I put up a new file called shaders.cmake. Inside, we will create a new function called addShaders. This function will have a single named parameter, which is the target name. We will also take the rest of the parameters that are in IRGN and put them in a new CMake variable called shader source files. We can then take the amount of source files through the CMake lists command. I will check if this variable has any length. If there are no shaders, then this function call is invalid. So I add a fatal error message. Otherwise, I will add a custom target with the target name that was passed in. It will always be called on build, so I pass in O as well. Then I add a command that will be printed out when this target is run. And finally, I add the source files. We can then go to the main file and include our custom shader file. We can then use this addShaders function and set a target name for it. If we don't pass a shader, we will get the error message that we wrote. So let's pass the basic vertex shader file. Now, back to the function, we need to make each shader file compile now. To do this, we need to create a list of commands that compile each file. We will also have a list of all the resulting files called products. Then we write a for each loop that goes through each shader source file in the shader source file list. And for each, it will normalize the path to an absolute path. Then we will get the file name from the path using the CMake path command. Finally, we need to append to the commands. We append the word command, then we append the GOSLC compiler from the Vulkan namespace, and this comes from the find package we did in the main file. Then we need to add the source file. It is this shader source that we wrote. Then the -o indicator. And finally, we need to add the output file name, which will be residing in the CMake current binary there. It will also be the source file name, but ending in SPV. Finally, we also add to the list of shader products the same output file name. And I will copy it from up here. In the custom target, we now expand these two variables. One as the byproducts parameter. Now that we are done here, we can go into the main file and copy this glob here. We'll paste it below and rename the end variable to be called shader sources. We will change the glob to collect all files ending in vert or frac, and we will expand this variable in the addShaders function. Finally, we add a dependency where the Vulkan engine depends on this target to get executed. If we now build our Vulkan engine project and navigate to the build directory, you'll be able to see our output vertex shader there. So build debug, and here it is.